Not any special one. There was a little girl that I was seeing quite often over there that, for close to 50 years, part of Elvis Presley's house has stayed locked up, untouched, like a time capsule frozen in stillness. Fans from all over the world walked through Graceland's familiar halls, not knowing that right above them was a secret place holding something that would be a mystery for many years. What was kept inside wasn't talked about. Not by his family members, not by the people who took care of his property. It stayed quiet, full of dust, while the world outside changed. Now, after 49 years, that silence was finally broken. And what they found left everyone without words. Early life and career. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on the 8th of January, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi. He was born to Gladys and Vernon Presley, but something sad happened to him when he was very young. His twin brother, Jesse Garon Presley, was born dead a half hour before him. Elvis grew up very close to his parents, especially his mother. The family lived in poverty. Vernon jumped from one temporary job to another, and sometimes they had to count on neighbors and government food help. It got even worse in 1938 when Vernon was put in jail for faking a check and the Presleys lost their house. Music was always nearby, though. The family went to an Assembly of God church where Elvis first got into gospel music. At school, however, he was seen as just a regular boy. That changed in 1945 when Elvis, aged 10, competed in a singing contest at the Mississippi-Alabama Fair. He performed Old Shep and finished 5th. His mother gave him a guitar for his birthday around this time. Elvis was first shy about singing in front of people, but taught himself quietly to play by watching others and learning from family and friends and a local pastor. By 6th grade, Elvis had started singing at school. Even though classmates made fun of him for singing hillbilly songs, he became obsessed with music, listening to Mississippi Slim's broadcast and singing every chance he could. Slim even gave him a chance to sing live on the air. Elvis fell apart the first time, but came back the next week and did it. The Presleys moved to Memphis, Tennessee in 1948, and Elvis's musical future was set. At Humes High, he was not the star student by any means. He even got a C in music. And one teacher told him that he had no talent. Wanting to prove her wrong, Elvis took his guitar to class and sang a song, catching everyone by surprise. Slowly, he started standing out, not only for his music, but for his look. He wore sideburns, spent time around Beale Street's lively blues scene, and started dressing in flashy Lansky Brothers clothes. By his senior year, people were noticing. Elvis's first real step into music was in 1953 when he walked into Sam Phillips's Memphis recording service to record a song. Some stories say he did it as a gift for his mom, others that he simply wanted to hear himself sing. Whatever the reason, it interested Phillips. A year later, while he was recording with guitarist Scotty Moore and bassist Bill Black, Elvis suddenly broke into Arthur Crudup's That's All Right. The mood was filled with electricity, and Phillips right away knew that he had struck gold. When a local disc jockey played the record on the radio, listeners went wild. By 1954, Elvis was touring and his swaying dance moves were already driving crowds crazy. Some loved it, others called it scandalous, but nobody could deny his stardom. By 1956, RCA Victor had signed him with a record-breaking $40,000 contract. His first single, Heartbreak Hotel, sat at the top of the charts. His television appearances caused trouble. And his first film, Love Me Tender, made him a Hollywood star. The kid who had failed music class years ago was now rewriting it, becoming not only famous, but a cultural phenomenon on his own. Marriage collapse and affairs. By the early 1970s, Elvis and Priscilla Presley's relationship was falling apart. The two were so far apart that they were barely living together. The pressures of fame, long touring, and personal problems had started to show, and both of them were looking for comfort somewhere else. Elvis started an affair with Joyce Bova, a Capitol Hill aide, in 1971. He didn't know at the time that Joyce had gotten pregnant. She went on to have an abortion without ever telling Elvis about it. Even though everything was kept secret, Elvis would often talk about the possibility of Joyce living at Graceland as if he was hoping for a new family life. Even though he was still married, Priscilla, in the meantime, had a secret of her own. She was seeing her karate teacher, Mike Stone. Lessons turned into a romance, and soon Elvis found out about the affair. By that point, though, their marriage was already on shaky enough ground that it couldn't be saved. Elvis and Priscilla were officially divorced on February 23, 1972. For the fans who had always thought of them as the perfect couple, it came as a shock, but to those around them, it was bound to happen. A few months later, Elvis also moved on. Linda Thompson, a singer and former Memphis beauty queen, moved in with him at Graceland in July that year. She became an important person in his life, but the shadow of his failed marriage never quite left. By August 18, 1972, Elvis and Priscilla had officially asked for divorce. As the lead singer of the gospel band The Imperials, Joe Moschio confirmed that the end of the marriage affected Elvis more than most people knew. Moschio said that the breakup was a hit from which he never recovered. Although Elvis kept giving some of his best performances during this time in private, he struggled with deep sadness and emotional pain. The same summer, in a rare press conference, a reporter asked Elvis if he was happy with the image that he had built. His answer showed just how much pressure he was under from the weight of public expectation. He replied, "Well, the image is one thing and the human being another. It's very hard to live up to an image." Those words showed the tension in the very center of Elvis's life. To the world, he was still the king of rock and roll. Charismatic, powerful, and invincible. But in his heart, he was a man struggling with heartache, loneliness, and the impossible expectation of being the legend he had created. Violence, paranoia, and outbursts. In January 1973, Elvis Presley was at the top of fame. Yet off the stage, his private life was falling apart. That tension exploded dramatically one evening during a midnight show. Suddenly, 4 men rushed the stage in what looked like an attack. Security people ran into action. But Elvis didn't just stand there. He threw one of the intruders off the stage himself, showing the kind of quick physical response people weren't used to seeing from him. It seemed at first like nothing more than a scary moment. The men turned out to be overly excited fans who'd gotten out of hand. But Elvis didn't see it that way. Angry and shaken, he believed that it had not been an accident. In his mind, there was something more evil. He felt that the men had been sent by Mike Stone, Priscilla Presley's karate instructor, and the man with whom she had been romantically involved during the last years of their marriage.